what advice would you give companies in regard to building those relationships in the industries that you're familiar with? And this can be either way. I mean, maybe you have advice for countries or companies in Eastern Europe or the South Caucasus or Central Asia in regard to working with Swiss companies. Or maybe you have advice vice versa, Swiss companies, what does it take to build that relationship with these other companies in these industries in these various regions of the world?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I mean, that is almost the key. You know, of course, your product has to be good and there's got to be a demand for it, whatever it is. But beyond that, it's really, you know, it's really about finding the right partner.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding the market is one thing. You can sit at your desk in your home country and understand the market to a certain extent, but afterwards it's going out there and finding the right partner, a reliable local partner, and who is well networked in the market, who you can trust. How do you build trust? I think you maintain a certain openness. You maintain an openness to the way things are done in that country. I mean, each country has its modus operandi. In general, also in terms of business, it might not be the way it's done in Switzerland, right? Concepts of time are different. Concepts of, you know, agreement are different. One has to maintain an open mind and a certain degree of flexibility in trying to understand and somehow accommodate those differences. I think that's very important. And to also to give time to building the personal side of the relationship, something that in Switzerland is not, and also in the US, is not necessarily done, but, you know, socializing with your business partner is a very important ingredient in building a good and solid working relationship. As we discussed before, language can only help. It is desirable to speak at least a little bit of the language of the local, that is spoken in the local market. So that is also important. Having said all that, I think it's also important to know where your own boundaries are. And one can go to maybe another extreme when one is trying so much to somehow adapt oneself to the local processes, the local way of doing business. That's sometimes when one runs into trouble, because it can, you know, in certain cases be a violation of the corporate principles of your home country. So I think one has to find that balance between flexibility, openness, and adaptability, but also knowing where, you know, where the boundaries are for you and which lines you will not cross. That is very important too. And at the end of the day, from what I have heard from companies and from managers, that if you hold your ground in certain areas that are on principle, you know, immutable, let us say, eventually, more often than not, you will be respected for that. And, and the counterpart will work with you accordingly.